Hello friends, welcome to my channel Clinical Biochemistry by Dr. P.K. Prabhakar. Today I am going to talk about cholesterol biochemistry. So here we will see cholesterol, their clinical significance, detail about the cholesterol biosynthesis, and then we'll see the regulation of cholesterol biosynthesis, how it is going to be regulated. So first thing is, what is cholesterol? Cholesterol is the major sterol. Sterol is a category of chemicals. Later on we will see. So it is a major sterol present in the animal tissue which exists either in the form of cholesterol or as a cholesterol ester. Cholesterol is found exclusively in animal only. Hence it is also called as animal sterol. In case of plants, we don't have cholesterol. Plants have similar type of compound that is called as ergosterol. So in plasma, both cholesterol and cholesterol ester forms the for the transportation in the form of lipoproteins. In our body, whenever we are going to have cholesterol either from in vivo source or in in the diet source, either we synthesize it or we are taking in the diet, cholesterol is going to be converted into cholesterol ester or cholesterol ester, and most of the cholesterol exists in the form of cholesterol ester only, and both cholesterol and cholesterol ester are going to be transported with the help of lipoproteins. Plasma lipoprotein या LDL is the vehicle which normally transport cholesterol and cholesterol ester, and it deliver up to the many tissue, either from the intestine for exogenous lipid cholesterols or for endogenous cholesterol from liver to the different tissue. Free cholesterol which is produced by the tissue that will be transported back to the liver with the help of HDL via reverse cholesterol transportation. So the transportation of cholesterol from tissue back to the liver, that is by reverse cholesterol transport. The nature of cholesterol, if you see the cholesterol structure, some portion of cholesterol is making them hydrophobic, some portions is having hydrophilic nature. So overall nature of cholesterol is amphipathic, means it is having both hydrophobic as well as hydrophilic portions. Roughly, if the total body content of cholesterol in an adult human being whose weight will be 70 kg, roughly we are going to consider 70 kg as an average human being, is roughly 140 gram of cholesterol they will have, means around 2 gram per kg body weight. I have told you cholesterol is having amphipathic in nature since it possesses both hydrophilic and hydrophobic nature. This is the cholesterol structure. If you will see some of the basic significance, basic characteristic feature of the cholesterol structure is cholesterol have 27 carbon, which is numbered, that you can see it. It starts from the here from 1 and up to 27, total 27 carbon we are having, that is also written here, C27H46O. In the case of cholesterol, we are having 4 fused rings are there, or in these 4 fused rings, 3 rings are 6-membered cyclohexane ring with 1 double bond, and 1 is 5-membered ring. These 4 rings are fused with each other. Total 8 carbon side chain will be associated with the D ring, that at the carbon number 17, that you can see from here to this is 8 carbon side chain on the D ring. The cholesterol is having one OH group that is associated at the carbon number 3 in the ring A, and because of this OH group, this cholesterol is having hydrophilic nature, and because of this 8 carbon long chain, it is having hydrophobic nature. In the cholesterol, we are having also one single double bond, that is between carbon number 5 and 6, that you can see here. So one OH group at carbon number 3, one double bond at carbon number between carbon number 5 and 6. There are 3 methyl group is associated with this one. Total 4 methyl group we are having at carbon number 10, that is C19, this is one methyl group. At carbon number 13, that is second methyl group. At carbon number 20, that is third methyl group. And at carbon number 25, that is fourth methyl group. So total 4 methyl group we are having in this case of cholesterol. This is the silent feature of the cholesterol structure. Now if you see the structure of cholesterol and cholesterol ester, the OH group which is present in the A ring of cholesterol, that is going to be esterified, and this is called as cholesterol ester. So difference between cholesterol and cholesterol ester is the cholesterol is having hydroxyl group at third position, third carbon, whereas in case of cholesterol ester we are having ester group. The derivative, the cholesterol, normally going to be used in many different forms. The most important usage of cholesterol is it helps in the structural component of cell membrane. That is, second important use of cholesterol is it used as a precursor for many steroid hormones. Either it will be estrogens, androgen, testosterone, progesterone. So many different sex hormones, steroid hormones are going to be coming from cholesterol. Cholesterol also used for the bile acid synthesis, that is derivative of cholic acids, taurocholic acids or glucocholic acids, that we will see later on. And cholesterol also used for the vitamin D synthesis. Cholesterol have some other usage also, like it is essential ingredient in the structure of lipoproteins. Lipoproteins we require for the transportation of lipid from one position placed in our body to the other place. So for lipoprotein synthesis we require cholesterol. Fatty acids are transported to liver as a cholesterol ester for oxidation. This cholesterol also used in the nerve cells. So for neuronal transportation, signal transduction, we require cholesterol. So these are some of the important usage of cholesterol and their derivatives. If so, all these functions are going to be mentioned here. Like, it is one of the most abundant sterol in the human being because it is only present in animals, not in the plants. It constitutes the plasma membrane and forms lipoproteins. It is also precursor of bile acids, bile salts, precursor of many steroid hormones, precursor of vitamin D, cytosterol in case of plant kingdom, some of the plant alkaloids, cardiac glycosides, and it requires for nerve transmission. So this is the overall function of cholesterol in our body. Now if you will see the source of cholesterol. So cholesterols normally we are getting from three different sources, three different ways. First, either we are going to eat any food. So from our diet we are going to get cholesterol, that is one way. Second, through de novo synthesis we are going to synthesize from the basics, that is from acetyl coenzyme A, that is cholesterol synthesis. And third, whatever cholesterol ester we are having, if we are going to convert cholesterol ester into cholesterol, so that is after the hydrolysis of cholesterol ester. So these are the three different ways by which we get cholesterol in our body. More than 50% or half of the cholesterol in our body we are going to synthesize by ourselves. Out of that one, 50% cholesterol is going to be synthesized in our liver and 15% cholesterol going to be synthesized in the intestine. So means two of the organ, liver and intestine, going to synthesize more than 65% of cholesterol. Remaining other cholesterol we are going to produce in number of other tissue, like in the skin, renal cortex, reproductive tissue, and some other tissue. Roughly almost all the nucleated cells have a capacity to synthesize cholesterol. So cholesterol synthesis occurs in every cell of our body, and the location of cholesterol synthesis is in the cytosol and microsomal fractions. One of the reaction occurs in endoplasmic reticulum also, but most of the reaction takes place in the cytosol, cytoplasm of the cell. Whole cholesterol synthesis, if you are going to synthesize one molecule of cholesterols, we require 18 acetyl coenzyme A, we require 36 ATP, we require 16 NADPH. Now one of the important feature you should understand it, you should remember it, that here we require NADPH, we don't require NADH. In our cells we have limited sources of NADPH, and that NADPH which we are having limited amount, that we are going to require here. Now overall if you will see the cholesterol synthesis, that is going to be divided into 5 different stages. First stage is acetyl coenzyme A is going to be converted to 3-hydroxy 3-methyl glutaraldehyde coenzyme A, that is called as HMG coenzyme A. Acetyl coenzyme A is 2 carbon molecules, so 3 acetyl coenzyme A combine together and give you a 6 carbon HMG coenzyme A. That is my stage number 1. Stage number 2 is this HMG coenzyme A is converted to mevalonic acid. So 6 carbon HMG coenzyme A converted to 6 carbon mevalonic acid. That is my stage number 2. Third stage is this 6 carbon mevalonic acid is converted to isoprene unit, that is called as isopentenyl pyrophosphate, after the removal of 1 carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. Means mevalonic acid is having 6 carbon, from that 1 carbon exit in the form of carbon dioxide, so IPP is having only 5 carbon. So this is my third stage. Fourth stage is this IPP, isopentenyl pyrophosphate, is going to be converted to esqualene, that is of 30 carbon molecules, and the last and fifth stage is conversion of this esqualene into the cholesterol. So esqualene is having a 30 carbon, from there we have to remove 3 carbon, so ultimately we are going to get 27 carbon cholesterol. That you can see here also. So acetyl coenzyme A converted to HMG coenzyme A, HMG coenzyme A converted to mevalonic acid converted to isopentenyl pyrophosphate, then isopentenyl pyrophosphate converted to esqualene finally converted to cholesterol. In one of the intermediate is lanosterol. So this is 5 stages of cholesterol synthesis. Now the first reaction in the case of cholesterol synthesis is this synthesis of HMG coenzyme A. In this case, 2 molecule of acetyl coenzyme A condenses to form acetoacetyl coenzyme A. So here you can see 2 molecule of acetyl coenzyme A combines together with the help of thiolase enzyme and give you acetoacetyl coenzyme A. This reactions we used in ketone body synthesis also, ketone body degradation also. So this is the first reaction. This reaction very similar to that of ketone body synthesis, but both pathways are distinct because ketone body synthesis takes place inside the mitochondria and this reaction occurs in the cytoplasmic portions. Means we are having 2 types of thiolase, one is cytoplasmic, other one is mitochondrial. In the second reaction, this acetoacetyl coenzyme A gets another molecule of acetyl coenzyme A with the help of HMG coenzyme A synthase, and it converted into hydroxymethylgluteryl coenzyme A, that is HMG coenzyme A. Now 3 molecule of acetyl coenzyme A we have used. First 2 molecule used here and third molecule is using here. So total 3 molecule of HMG coenzyme, acetyl coenzyme A combined together and give you HMG coenzyme A. Again remember, this HMG coenzyme A synthase, we are having 2 types, mean 2 different pools of HMG coenzyme A we are having. One is mitochondrial, other one is cytoplasmic. Cytoplasmic HMG coenzyme A used in cholesterol synthesis. This is, if this is cytoplasmic, it is in cholesterol synthesis, and if we are having mitochondrial, that will be in the ketone body synthesis, ketone body production. So this is my first stage, second reaction of the first stage. Second, in the case of second stage is where this HMG coenzyme A is going to be converted into mevalonic acid, means HMG coenzyme A is going to be reduced with the help of HMG coenzyme A reductase enzyme. This enzyme going to use NADPH. 2 molecule of NADPH will be used here. So HMG coenzyme A is going to be converted to mevalonic acid or mevalonate. This reaction, HMG coenzyme A reductase reaction, is the slowest reaction among the all reaction of cholesterol synthesis. Because it is the slowest reaction, so it is also rate determining stage. It is the committed pathway, committed step of the cholesterol synthesis. So this reaction it occurs in the endoplasmic reticulum and catalyzes the reaction of HMG coenzyme A conversion to the mevalonic acid. This is one of the most important reaction of cholesterol synthesis because it is going to be regulatory reaction. So it is rate determining stage, rate limiting enzymes. It takes place in endoplasmic reticulum. It requires NADPH. This is overall of first 2 stages. So here we can see 1 molecule of acetyl coenzyme A combined with another molecule of acetyl coenzyme A in the presence of thiolase enzyme gives us acetoacetyl coenzyme A. Then third molecule of acetyl coenzyme A combined with this one in the presence of HMG coenzyme A synthase gives us HMG coenzyme A. Here HMG coenzyme A is going to be reduced to mevalonic acid, where they are going to use 2 molecule of NADPH and the slowest reaction catalyzed by HMG coenzyme A reductase, which is the rate determining stage. Then this mevalonic acid is going to be converted into isopentenyl pyrophosphate. Here reaction occurs in 3 important stages. First, mevalonic acid is going to be phosphorylated at 5th carbon. So, and that ATP phosphate comes from the ATP. So ATP is the phosphate source, and enzyme is mevalonate 5-phosphotransferase. So we are going to get mevalonic acid which is phosphorylated, so product will be 5-phosphomevalonate. Then this 5-phosphomevalonate is going to be phosphorylated again, which gives us pyrophosphate, means 2 phosphate together, as you can see here, that is give you 5-pyrophosphate mevalonate. Enzyme is phosphomevalonate kinase. Here also phosphate groups comes from ATP only. Next reaction is 5-pyrophosphate mevalonate is going to be phosphorylated again, but not on the previously existing phosphate one, but at the 3' carbon. So it gives us 3-phospho-5-pyrophosphomevalonate. Then this reaction, this 3-phospho-5-pyrophosphomevalonate is going to be decarboxylated. One of the carbon dioxide will be removed here and one of the phosphate will be removed. Ultimately we are going to get isopentenyl pyrophosphate. This is which is having 5 carbon, because one acidic carbon has been removed in the form of carbon dioxide. And the last ATP given phosphate, the phosphate which comes from the last phosphate, that is also removed in the form of inorganic phosphate. Later on, this isopentenyl pyrophosphate is isomerized and give us dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate by enzyme isopentenyl pyrophosphate enzymes. In this conversion of mevalonic acid to isopentenyl pyrophosphate, we are going to use 3 ATP, 1 ATP, 2 ATP, 3 ATP. It releases 1 carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. This is the overall reaction of third stage, where mevalonic acid has been converted to isopentenyl pyrophosphate or dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate. This is the reaction. So isopentenyl pyrophosphate is isomerized to dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate. Means which type of isomerization occurs? This double bond which you are going to see here, the position of double bond will be shifted from here to another carbon. That is the only shifting in the double bond takes place. Then we are going to have this dimethyl allyl phosphate. One molecule of dimethyl allyl phosphate is going to join with isopentenyl pyrophosphate. So 5 carbon here we are having and 5 carbon here we are having. These two join together with the help of phenylprenyl transferase enzyme, and here head to tail condensation occurs. Means if we are going to this is a tail portion, so this tail is going to join with this head portion. If this is head and this is tail, so tail is going to join with head, so head to tail condensation, and ultimately we are going to get a 10 carbon geranyl pyrophosphate. In this geranyl pyrophosphate, another molecule of IPP, isopentenyl pyrophosphate, comes here, and this also going to join together head to tail condensation. That is again same enzyme, prenyl transferase, head to tail condensation. So 10 carbon we had here and 5 carbon comes from isopentenyl pyrophosphate. So ultimately we have got 15 carbon farnesyl pyrophosphate. So this farnesyl pyrophosphate, 2 molecule of farnesyl pyrophosphate, FPP1, FPP2. These two farnesyl pyrophosphate is going to join head to head condensation. If this is the head portion or tail portion, so tail to tail or head to head, means both similar ends are going to join together, and ultimately we are going to get a 30 carbon long straight chain that is called as esqualene. Here also we require 1 NADPH. So this is my 4th stage. In the 5th stage, this esqualene is going to be converted to cholesterol. So esqualene undergo many reactions like hydroxylation and cyclization using oxygen and NADPH and get converted into lanosterol, and lanosterol is going to be converted to cholesterol, and there we are having roughly 19 enzymatic reaction takes place. So ultimately lanosterol converted to cholesterol. After this, from this straight chain it will be cyclized and then the hydroxylation, and it is going to be converted here. So we are going to get cholesterol. The conversion of lanosterol to cholesterol, that is catalyzed by some of the enzymes which is present in endoplasmic reticulum. And some of the biochemical changes which occurs here is, first, reducing the carbon atom from 30 to 27, means 3 carbon is going to be removed. What are the 3 carbon we are going to remove? This 2 methyl group and this is 1 methyl group which is going to be removed. Removal of 2 methyl group from C4 that you can see here, and 1 methyl group from C14. So 3 methyl group will be removed. So 3 carbon removed. So 30 becomes 27 now. Shift of a double bond is going to be shifted from C8 to C5. Which this double bond which was previously here is going to be shifted to this carbon. So that is another change. And last is a reduction in the double bond present between C24 and 25. This is going to be hydroxylated, so it is going to be reduced. So these are the different changes occurs when lanosterol converted to cholesterol, and ultimately we are going to get cholesterol for our usage. This is the chemical reactions which farnesyl two molecule of farnesyl pyrophosphate which is having a 15 carbon joined together give you esqualene. Esqualene is going to be restructured, and ultimately it is going to be converted to lanosterol to cholesterol, and finally we get cholesterol. So these are the different complete process of cholesterol synthesis. In this case, the enzymes roughly because because here we are having roughly 19 reactions. So all these enzymes involved in the conversion of lanosterol to cholesterol are associated with endoplasmic reticulum, because this reaction takes place in endoplasmic reticulum. Like 14 dismethyl lanosterol, zymosterol, cholesterol and desmosterol are among the intermediates in this process when lanosterol converted to cholesterol. The penultimate product of cholesterol is 7-dehydrocholesterol, which normally we are going to use in case of vitamin D synthesis. That we will see later on. Now the most important, so we have got cholesterol. Now I am going to see the how cholesterol is going to be regulated. So like see, this is the cholesterol regulatory step of cholesterol synthesis. In it, this cholesterol regulations is going to take place in this reaction where HMG coenzyme is converted to mevalonic acid and catalyzed by HMG coenzyme reductase. So HMG coenzyme reductase is found in associated with endoplasmic reticulum and is subject of different type of metabolic controls, metabolic regulations. So there are total 4 different types of regulations will be there for this enzyme. First one is feedback mechanism, feedback regulation. Second one is hormonal regulations, regulated by hormones. Third inhibited by many drugs. Fourth, regulated by bile acids. So one by one we are going to see. First, feedback mechanism. This is the overall regulatory system. So first let us go one by one, and then lastly we will see the detail. So in this case, this HMG coenzyme A is going to be converted to mevalonic acid, and we require an enzyme that is called as HMG coenzyme A, because this is enzyme, so obviously it is a protein, and this protein we are getting from a DNA. DNA gives us messenger RNA, messenger RNA gives us enzyme. So through feedback regulations, this process is going to be regulated by the end product. So the end product of this cholesterol synthesis is cholesterol, which control its own synthesis by a feedback mechanism. So increase in the cellular concentration of cholesterol normally reduces the synthesis of HMG coenzyme enzyme. This is achieved by decreasing the transcription process of gene responsible for the HMG coenzyme reductase. So cholesterol does not allow more enzyme to be transcribed and translated. Feedback regulations has been also investigated with regards to LDL cholesterol taken up by the cells, and same mechanism is believed to operate whenever cellular cholesterol level is elevated. Second, so this is second regulations is hormonal regulations. There are 2 different types of hormones we are having. One kind of hormone which is normally going to dephosphorylate, and there are second type of hormones which is going to be phosphorylate, which adds phosphate group. This HMG coenzyme A normally going to be activated when it is dephosphorylated. So if HMG coenzyme A does not have phosphate, it is dephosphorylated condition, it will be active. We are having 2 hormones, insulin and thyroxine. This is normally going to do dephosphorylation, means it removes the phosphate group. So whenever we are having high amount of insulin, high concentration of insulin or thyroxine, it is going to dephosphorylate HMG coenzyme A, and HMG coenzyme A becomes active. And when HMG coenzyme A is active, this reaction takes place, means cholesterol synthesis occurs, means insulin and thyroxine increases cholesterol synthesis. Similarly, we are having two other hormones like a glucagon and glucocorticoids, which is going to do dephosphorylations. This phosphorylations makes HMG coenzyme inactive. So whenever we are having starving conditions, means fasting conditions, hypoglycemic conditions, in that case we are having more glucagon, and whenever we will have high amount of glucagon or glucocorticoids, it is going to do the phosphorylation of this HMG coenzyme, and whenever it will be phosphorylated, HMG coenzyme becomes inactive, and once it will be inactive, this reaction will be stopped, and if this reaction will be stopped, no cholesterol synthesis will be there. So insulin and thyroxine increases the cholesterol synthesis, glucagon corticoids decreases cholesterol synthesis. This is how it is going to be regulated by hormones. The third kind of regulation is by competitive inhibitors. So there are certain drugs like compactin, lovastatin, means movinoline, that means almost all the statin category of drugs. These are fungal products. They are used to decrease the serum cholesterol level in the patient with hypercholesterolemia. Compactin and lovastatin are competitive inhibitor of HMG coenzyme reductase. Competitive inhibitor means they are going to compete for the binding site of HMG coenzyme binding site on this enzyme. So roughly these two drugs reduces the cholesterol synthesis, and roughly about 50 to 60% decrease in cholesterol, serum cholesterol levels has been reported when both the drugs are going to be used together. So this is three different ways by which it is going to be regulated. The fourth regulation is with the help of bile acid. HMG coenzyme reductase activity is inhibited by bile acid, and I have already told you, whenever we are going to have fasting, we are going to starving, that time we will have more glucagon, and it is also going to inactivate, suppress the cholesterol synthesis. So this is overall four regulations. First regulation by feedback mechanism, second through hormones here, and third by competitive inhibitor drug, and fourth by bile acids. Bile acid normally competitively inhibits it. Once cholesterol has done their function, this cholesterol is going to be degraded. So cholesterol, the steroid nucleus ring structure of the cholesterol, normally it cannot be degraded to CO2 and water. So roughly 50% of cholesterol in our body is converted to bile acid and excreted in the feces, stool. Serve as the precursor for the synthesis of many steroid hormones, vitamin D, coprostanols, cholestanols. These are the different compounds we are going to get produced. So this is overall cholesterol, information about the cholesterol synthesis, their mechanism of action, their biosynthesis, their regulations. So hope you have got some of the information from this one. If you have any query, any comments regarding cholesterol synthesis, any other question in the biochemistry, you can write in the comment box. If you have not subscribed my channel, you can subscribe my channel. You can press the bell button so that you will get all the notifications on the time. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.